This is one of the few shows I would say is must see TV. What's up, everybody? So let's talk Landman Season 2, which debuts in 2 days on Sunday, November 16th. And I discovered Landman Season 1 recently, maybe like 3, 4 months ago or so. And I was pleasantly surprised. Like, I had seen a couple clips of Billy Bob Thornton, and he has one of those famous speeches, one of those famous monologues in the show where he's talking to somebody about how oil makes everything go around, regardless of, what it is that you want to do as far as green energy. In the end of the day, it still boils down to oil. And so, okay, the writing is pretty good. It's Taylor Sheridan, so there is a bar that is pretty high there. With everything that you see of Taylor Sheridan, including Yellowstone, 1883, 1923, Tulsa King, etc. Not to mention the movies that he's written. And so I checked it out. It is way better than I thought it was going to be. It's way funnier. I think that's the one of the things that I doesn't get talked about enough is the line deliveries that Billy Bob has, some of the situations that he finds himself in, or maybe even his coworkers find himself in, his relationship with his estranged wife. It's really, really funny because it is so ridiculous, but it still works into revealing more of the character, what their inner layers are, and how it propels the story going forward, even. Because one of the main issues is balancing all of the responsibilities and issues that he has with the oil company that he works for with his family life. And that, including and especially his ex wife, his daughter, and his son. And so I really like how all of that is intertwined. It's almost Shakespeare-esque where there's so much going on at the same time, but it's not confusing. It's pretty straightforward and easy to follow. So in that way, I really appreciate how consistent the writing is. Towards the end of Yellowstone, I thought it became too much of a romantic tribute to ranchers. And so instead of there being dialogue or character moments that propel the narrative, it's more of like montages about horse riding and the mountains of Montana and things like that, which is beautiful to look at, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's like you want resolution between, all of the characters and their plot lines. Now, with Landman, it's only been season 1, so all of that got taken care of very, very efficiently, which I appreciated. And I'm just hoping that it continues with season 2. And as far as the stakes for season 2, as far as like the story is concerned, the characters that, are new to the season, at the end of season 1, you have Andy Garcia, who ends up being the Mexican drug cartel boss that now Billy Bob Thornton's character has to deal with. I like that Demi Moore is kind of have this bit of a resurgence. I mean, it's not just with the substance, which I do believe, she could have won the Oscar for that one. Uh, if you think back to that, I think it's very much Fernando Torres, and after that, I think it should have been Demi Moore. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But she appears a little bit in season 1, but she seems to have a much bigger role in season 2, so I'm looking forward to that. And Sam Elliott. I mean, the man has been around forever. I believe he's in his 80s now, so he definitely can be Billy Bob Thornton's father, who he plays in the show. So you have some new blood slash old blood, depending on how you want to look at it, that is going to inject a little bit more life and energy into the show. So it's different enough. It's providing some new flavor, some new elements and dimensions to the characters, to the plot lines, etc. And I gotta say this because with season 1, it ended with the owner of the oil company dying and him leaving the company to his wife. But Billy Bob Thornton's character is the one basically running the show, no pun intended. So now there's a lot of the power struggles and the power grabs that are trying to be had, in between all the other different power players, in this world. So I like that creative tension. It seems like the tension in the family is still there. Now, Billy Bob Thornton's son, the character, is trying to make a name for himself in the oil business. So he's also kind of contending with that, trying to protect his son, but also teach him how to do things the right way, unlike he did uh, earlier in his own career, and just protecting his daughter. Now, the one thing also that I never thought I'd actually say, but I think it merits uh, this kind of praise, at least from me, with the consistency that Taylor Sheridan has shown with all the other shows that he's done and the movies, it and the dialogue, how it can reach some incredible heights. I really do put him up to the level with my all-time favorite TV and film writer, Aaron Sorkin. It's just that Taylor Sheridan seems to be a lot more productive. Aaron Sorkin, it's for better for worse, he takes his time to produce the work that he produces, and it's always amazing. I always look forward to it. I just always want a little bit more, and somehow Taylor Sheridan is able to produce way more, and the level of quality never suffers from it. It's never watered down because he's doing so much. It always has this very consistent high bar that I really appreciate and I look forward to with every single episode of not just Landman, but some of the previous shows that I mentioned. I haven't yet been gotten into Mayor of Kingstown. I feel like I should, but as far as Tulsa King, like I mentioned, Lioness is it's criminally underrated. Um, but I think Landman is getting its due, and I hope it continues to do very, very well, not just in the quality, but in the amount of people that are paying attention to it. Anyways, what about you guys? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Smash that like button, give me a follow, and I'll see you guys next time.